Welcome to the Worthy Bitch podcast, the place where we discuss all things self-worth so we can stop living life as a victim and start living life on purpose. My name is Autumn. I'm your host and the creatrix of the Worthy Bitch. I am so excited that you have made the decision to embark on your Worthy Bitch journey. Now let's dive into ourselves. How can Ayurveda help you? The healing powers of Ayurveda knowledge. You know what? I think about Ayurveda a lot. Like every day. All the time. I see life through the lens of Ayurveda. It has been this way for about 3 years now. Ayurveda classes on fully all of the time. Whenever I meet someone new, or I'm just in a place where I'm able to observe some humans, my mind is running wild with all of the Ayurveda knowledge I continue to cultivate within. I love to guess people's doshas just by interacting with or observing them, and then if I feel called to share that information with them, I am always thrilled to hear 4 of my favorite words come out of their mouth. What does that mean? You see, I feel deep in my soul that life is improved by my Ayurveda classes. It is damn sure easier to navigate and understand when you are given some answers. Ayurveda provides answers to all sorts of questions about life that life causes you to ask and wonder about. I believe deep in my being that it is my job to share these teachings, to help them continue to float to the top and be seen by the masses, to continue to be passed down through the generations, for parents to teach it to their children, for parents to actually be able to understand their children on a deeper level. I am talking actually understand why they do what they do and why they are the way that they are. Hell, for parents and people everywhere to be able to understand themselves on this deeper level. Like going out on a date with someone you have been married to all of your life, but never really taken the time to ask the questions that matter. Or if you did, you didn't wait for an answer. I want you to learn how to date yourself, to court yourself, to be your own caller. I was thinking about that term yesterday, a gentleman caller. It is a man who is interested in a woman and calling her, getting to know her, showing her that he cares enough to show up, to ask those questions, and not only listen to the answers, but apply the knowledge he learns to show her again that he cares. I want you to be your own caller. I want you to date yourself, to get to know yourself, to show yourself that you matter to you. We have this tendency as humans to try and force ourselves to be a way that we have seen somewhere else. We don't know if it is right or not, so we try it. We are intrigued by it. These things come in many different forms, but here I want to focus on the forms of comparing to change, things that don't make you feel good to add to your life, and observing to implement, learning things you like from others that makes you feel good to add to your life in your own way. Comparing to change and observing to implement. That is the key difference. Doing it in your own way, not copying, but adopting. This is the key to Ayurveda. You learn and absorb as much of the information as you can. Listening is one of the most pure forms of studying Ayurveda because it is how it was passed down for thousands of years before it was documented. You learn and absorb as much of the information as you can, and then you court yourself. You call yourself, you observe yourself. Ask questions. Actually wait for and listen to the answers. Then you begin the beautiful dance with yourself. At first it feels like you don't know the steps, but remember that you do. It is a part of who you are at your core. Ayurveda is natural. You may trip over your feet a few times while you are learning the steps. When I first learned about Ayurveda, I didn't bother to ask myself those questions and wait for the answers and listen to them. I just started dancing. It wasn't pretty. I had completely misunderstood how the information I had learned applied to me personally and began dancing the wrong dance for me. And by this I mean applying the wrong practices, eating the wrong foods, exercising the wrong way, for me, for what was best for me, for my body, for my health. We are not all created identically. We all have varying percentages of elements within us, and that is why we are all different. That is one of my favorite things about Ayurveda. It does not apply a one-size-fits-all approach, nor does it prescribe the same pill for the same disease, no matter the person. Ayurveda is different. Ayurveda sees you. Ayurveda knows you and wants to help you get to know you better. Eventually, after dancing the wrong dance for a while and unwittingly getting really good at doing things that were really harming me, I decided to take a dosha quiz. Ask myself those questions and get those answers. Let me tell you something. Really listen to this because it is important and it really changed things for me. Sometimes you don't know you as well as you think you know you. Do you get that? Sometimes you don't know you as well as you think you know you. You have been you your whole life, and during that time, you've been telling yourself all sorts of things about who you are, why you are, how you are, etc. What happens is that you begin to mold and shape a version of yourself in your mind that is slightly or drastically different from the one that is current in your physical form or reality. That is not a bad thing. It is just a human thing, which I have learned to stop classifying as bad. Do you ever call something bad just because you don't understand it? We all do these things in one way or another. So I was sitting here thinking, I was blue when I was actually red. Can you see how this can cause issues? Now I am using the words red and blue just as an example. That is not how we describe people in Ayurveda, but I am trying to make this easily understandable for those of you who have no background with Ayurveda. So let's say that the practice to implement for blue is red, and the practice to implement for red is blue. What do you think will happen if you think that you are the one that you are not and you begin implementing those practices? As in my example, where thinking I was blue and implementing red, when in reality I was red implementing red. And you can probably guess what happened next. Like increases like. Red makes more red. I was getting worse and I didn't understand why. So I took the quiz and I realized I was red instead of blue, and what I had been doing to myself this whole time for probably close to a year, maybe 6 months. Now it has been taking me years to undo what I had done because I didn't take the time to get to know myself beforehand, to ask those important questions about me. This was a very important piece of the puzzle, as it turns out. My doing the wrong thing and realizing what I had done and why it happened flipped a switch within my being. I began to recognize these stories that I had been telling myself that had turned to belief, aka my reality. I began to see the way I was viewing myself versus who I really was. I began to see the lies I had been telling myself and the walls I had put up to protect myself. Ayurveda helped me see the truth of myself for the very first time. Apart from everything society says or the things I was told by family and friends growing up, even the things I told myself, especially the things I told myself, I began to see me. Ayurveda continues to hold my hand as I walk down this path and unravel the tangled web of stories and emotions I have weaved for the entirety of my life, showing me how to handle what I find there. Now I know this may sound a little wild to some of you, sitting there listening to me talk about Ayurveda as if she were alive, but I believe that she is. She is alive within every one of us. All of the humans who choose to know her, to carry her teachings, to implement her practices, and to share her with loved ones. Ayurveda is here to help you. I have dedicated my life to sharing the healing teachings of Ayurveda with the world because of the intense transformation I have experienced and continue to experience in my own life, as well as the lives of thousands, millions of testimonials from others. Ayurveda is the mother of all healthcare practices we have today. Why not go directly to the source? If you're ready to dive into your Ayurveda journey, then I invite you to reach out, check out the offerings I have created for you. If you are new to Ayurveda and want to start from scratch, then my Diving into the Doshas workshop is for you. It is the comprehensive Ayurveda basics class I wish I had the first time I came to Ayurveda. When you finish this 1.5-hour long workshop, you will not only know everything you need to know to begin viewing life through your Ayurveda lenses, but you will also have assessments that will help you ask yourself those questions and get those answers. This will show you how Ayurveda applies to you directly in real time. You can even use these assessments for your family to deepen your understanding of them with the help of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is not just about the physical body either. Ayurveda explains personalities, how to understand and work with your emotions and feelings. Ayurveda teaches you the practices you need to use everything in your life to your advantage. No more sitting around wondering why you are so muffed up and how there is no hope for you because you are just the way too cray-cray. No more feeling like a victim in your own body just because you don't understand it. I honestly don't understand why things like Ayurveda are not taught firsthand, along with things like reading and writing. Honestly, I find Ayurveda more important than those things in many ways. This is because without your health and vitality, you cannot fully tap into yourself in order to utilize the other tools anyways. We were not meant to come here and do what we are told. Only speak when we are spoken to, raise our hand, and wait to be called on. No, we are meant to call on ourselves. I want you to know you. I want you to understand you, to like you, to love you, and to care for yourself to the best of your ability. I want you to know better and do better. I learned that most people don't do what is right because they honestly don't know better. I like to give others the benefit of the doubt as much as possible. I would appreciate the same in return, and it appears that in this life you get back what you give. So, I have often made mistakes just out of pure ignorance, just not knowing better. I know you have too. That is when I have noticed my friend Fearful Franny. I recently changed the way I view fear. I recorded an entire podcast episode documenting that transformation vocally. Stay tuned. This will be episode 53, I think. Come out. So Fearful Franny tried to come out to protect me. We don't like making mistakes or being wrong. Nobody does. We try to avoid that experience at all costs, but it is inevitable if you are a conscious creator here to expand and raise consciousness. So why not just get as prepared as possible for what you know is to come and learn to talk yourself through the unexpected surprises? Ayurveda is here to help you with that. Ayurveda is the friend you didn't know you had, but has always been there waiting for you to notice her. Did you know that Ayurveda can tell you which diseases and ailments you are prone to experiencing in your life and how to avoid them as much as possible? Ayurveda is the best preventative practice that I have found on this planet. I have always wished I had a handbook for my life, something to explain something to explain me to me in a way that made sense, in a way that allowed me to be my best self. I have always said nobody gives you a handbook for your life the day you were born. But what if they did? What if there was a way to see yourself more clearly than ever before? What if there was a way to help yourself be healthier than you ever imagined? Like, you may think you are healthy and you even feel good, but what if it could be even better? That is Ayurveda. It is my dream that Ayurveda be a household name. Every home has Ayurveda products and knows the doshas and everyone who lives there. This is deeper than astrology. People have been into astrology for ages, as well as it continues to grow ever more popular, but Ayurveda has it beat when it comes to understanding the nitty-gritty of yourself down to the bone and beyond. If Ayurveda is a delicious frappuccino with all of the goods blended together into one amazing elixir of pure heaven in your mouth, then astrology is the dairy-free whipped cream topping. I would never hate on one or the other. I appreciate them both and study them both. I also feel that they go together very seamlessly, and if you are interested in one, you would probably be intrigued by the other. Okay, so as we close our 6th page of text for this blog and open the 7th, I would like to take this moment to thank you, dear listener. If you have made it this far, then you are truly dedicated to your healing journey, and the world needs more people like you. I am grateful that you have found your way to my platform, and I cannot wait to get to know you better and to help you get to know you better. Leave me a note in the comments and introduce yourself. I love to know who you are. And if you like what you see and haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Worthy Bitch podcast to get the goods in audio. I created the podcast before I ever decided to do a business or knew that I would create Ayurveda-ish, so that is my firstborn and cherished baby. That is where you will get me from day one and be able to see the evolution that happens when you surrender to the Dharma, life's purpose. Ayurveda talks about that too. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. And if nobody has told you today, you are drop dead fucking gorgeous and I love you. Go rock life. Check out my links below.
And if you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe and rate and share with a friend who needs to hear it. Also, I would love if you could leave me a review on iTunes and take a screenshot and email it over to me at theworthybitch@gmail.com. That's theworthyb, period, TCH, at gmail.com. Link is in the show notes, and I will send you a free gift of my 30 affirmations for the doshas that will assist you in your practice to find balance. And as always, I thank you so much for taking this time today to show up for yourself and do the work. Keep living life on purpose, my worthy bitches.